You know, in life as well as real estate, there are milestones that you hit, and we have reached 150 episodes. It's The Real Estate Show. Welcome to The Real Estate Show. My name's Rick Naples, broker owner of Zone Realty LLC. This is the 150th episode of The Real Estate Show. 150 shows. I've been doing this a long time here on Nutmeg TV, and I've tried to present information that I hope my viewing audience will find useful. Been a lot of changes over these last 150 shows. You know, when we started the real estate show, it was kind of experimenting with different techniques, different openings, getting used to using the camera, the lighting, and the so on and so forth. And as we've gone through the years, there have been very many developments, both at the television station and with the real estate show. Of course, with myself, as you know, I started as a realtor. I served in a number of different positions at the real estate companies that I was with, also with my local association of realtors, got involved politically with the different issues that real estate agents are concerned with, and of course it all built up to opening up my own brokership. That's not all though. The real estate show itself has gone through some changes in the techniques and the way that I film it, where I film it, how I edit it, what kind of equipment is being used, and so on and so forth. And as you'll see, we've actually tweaked a few things on the real estate show as far as the new opening and the new closing and the different things that we're going to be doing. You know, 150, that's a big milestone to get to. And I was thinking about it, and I was trying to think, well, what can I share with you after I've talked about just about everything I could think of concerning the real estate transaction and the real estate deal. So I thought we might have a little fun and just sit back and take a look at some of the fun presentations that I've put together. This first one's about 150 things that you can actually throw away. Let's take a look. I know that presentation went by kind of quickly. I was trying to include some of the highlights of the 150 things that you can throw away. I hope that that kind of motivates you a little bit to look around the house or the apartment or wherever you may live and look at those things that have been accumulating that you really don't need. I've talked on the real estate show in the past on preparation of getting your house ready for sale. And one of the things we talk about is decluttering. And that means, of course, many different things as far as artwork that's hung on the walls, to magnets that are put on the refrigerator, to just all the stuff that you accumulate over the years as you live in your house. It's time to look at all those things. Whether you're going to sell or not, it's good to every few months go through what you have and get rid of the stuff that's actually just taking up dead space. There's an old rule, and I think you saw it real quickly in one of those presentations, that if you have something in your closet and you haven't touched it in over a year or say a year and a half, it's probably time to get rid of it. And of course, like with me, I'm sure many of you go through clothes like crazy, and you change in sizes as you get older, and you get thinner, you get heavier, so on and so forth. How many of you have old clothes that don't fit anymore? Well, why don't you go through and thin those out, make a little bit more room in your closet, and get rid of the clothes that don't fit. There are some also interesting points in that little presentation as far as things like paperwork. Now, I actually have the mortgage paperwork from a couple of houses that I bought years ago. Don't know why I'm keeping it. Maybe it's sentimental value, but I was inspired in looking at that list to say to myself, well, why is all this taking up space in my filing cabinet? I really don't need copies of paperwork for houses that I've owned that have since been sold and mortgages paid off and so on and so forth. So I started my shredder going, and I went through all that paperwork and threw it away, and I was amazed at how much more room all of a sudden I had in my file cabinets. Let's talk about 150 episodes. I've had the opportunity to present to you a number of real estate subjects over these last 150 shows. And as I said, I hope you find them interesting as well as sometimes entertaining. And I've invited many of you to either write or see the number or whatever as far as things are concerned with questions to the real estate show. Over the years, I've had many different questions concerning real estate, and I've done my best to answer them. And towards the end of this show, we'll have some commentary on a couple of things that did come in over the email address. As I was going through the internet and keeping on my mind 150, I was wondering what was going on 150 years ago. And I came up with some very interesting facts. The year is 1867, 150 years ago from the filming of this show. What was happening in history? Let's take a look. surprises in that presentation 150 years ago? You got to think of where we were and where we are now and what's happened over the last 150 years as far as how our lives have changed, how our life expectancy has changed, and the different things. In 150 episodes of the Real Estate Show, I've watched things change as far as real estate is concerned. Now, the core basics of the real estate transaction have pretty much stayed the same over the last 6-7 years or so while we've done the Real Estate Show. But there's been some changes. We've seen some tweaks to the law. We've seen some tweaks as far as taxes are concerned, disclosure requirements that the real estate and a realtor has to provide to the seller or the buyer, and many other changes. It's very important that when you hire a realtor, that realtor stays up to date on the changes that happen throughout the course of the year. Not only with the market, which is important, of course, when buying or selling a home, but also with the policies and the procedures and real estate law. This is why it's so important that when you do decide to sell a home or to purchase a home, you seek out a realtor who's professional and that you're comfortable with and use their guidance and their expertise to get you through the real estate transaction. Let's sit back and watch this presentation. I'll be back with some more commentary. I've told this story many, many times. I think I've told it. I told it during our 6th anniversary show. I think I told it when we crossed the 100th real estate show. And now that we reached 150 shows, I thought it might be interesting to just kind of reiterate it again, especially for our new viewers. And what I mean by new viewers is we've gotten into a file sharing program now where the real estate show is going to start to be shared with other community television stations across the state of Connecticut. So we'll start appearing on other channels and in other places very, very soon. The real estate show was started basically with an idea and a concept and a little bit of input from Nutmeg television. Many, many years ago, I was a real estate agent in a brokership, and just about doing, the regular daily business that realtors do. When Nutmeg Television walked into the office, it was a situation where they were filming a show called Strictly Business. And Strictly Business was a business-based show where every half-hour episode was 2 15-minute sections where they would interview local business owners about the business that they did and the products that they offer. And they had never done a real estate company before. So they came in and they asked if they could have the opportunity to interview somebody about a real estate company and what a real estate company does. And of course, my broker, gracious of him, asked them to meet with me at that time, because at the time I was one of the top agents in the office. So I had the opportunity to sit and speak and appear on Nutmeg television on that show. Had my 15 minutes of fame, you may say. After that experience, a couple of weeks went by, and I was approached and told that I had such a knowledgeable base and I seemed to be relaxed in the television screen. Would I be interested in doing a show on Nutmeg TV? So of course that got the wheels turning. I came up with the concept. Of course, the name of the show is very simple. It's what it's all about. And we started filming our first shows. And those first shows, if you go back into the archives, folks, you'll see that they were very shaky. We were still trying to get used to camera techniques and how to edit the show and how to put things together and so on and so forth. So I always kind of look fondly on the first 5 or 6 real estate shows because it was a learning curve. Public television has given us a lot of opportunities over the years to improve on what we're doing. And again, we're still doing the real estate show, 150 episodes. Let's take a look at this. Always put towards the end of the real estate show this segment that I call the real estate mailbag. My opportunity to answer questions that are emailed to the real estate show, asked to me when I'm out and about at social gatherings, or even when I'm just out in the general public. Sometimes folks will recognize me, they'll come up to me and they'll ask me questions. One of the most common questions that I get, either via email or just in conversation, is what's the market doing? I mean, how's it going out there? Is it busy? Is it slow? Maybe the real question is, should I buy a house now or should I sell a house now? Whatever the motivation is. The markets are constantly changing, and I always tell people it's always a good time, but the most important thing is what is the right time for you to either sell or buy a home. You have to make that personal decision. Talk to a realtor, get their advice, talk to other people that are out there, and make the decision as to whether or not you want to jump into the market. You know, whether you're selling a home in a down market or in an up market, it's still going to be the same process, and it's the same thing when you're buying a home. So, learn what you can learn and talk to a realtor. My name is Rick Naples. This is The Real Estate Show, episode number 150. I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you'll continue to tune in as we continue to provide you with more real estate shows. Have a good time.